little bit of a Christmas fan.
I hadn't noticed.
I love all the contradictions of it.
It's not at all apparent behind you. My daughter goes to just council creche, and she's coming home going, Daddy, when's Santa coming to our house? Well, he doesn't like you. He doesn't like us. No. I go on. Do we got a Christmas tree? And I'm kind of like, oh look, we actually don't celebrate Christmas. We have Hanukkah, and so we spoke to her teachers at creche, and we said, we've got like a book, Elmo's First Hanukkah.
Oh.
Clearly an American production. So I said to the teachers, because they're teaching the kids all Christmas stuff, which is pretty weird for a council creche as well.
Look,
I don't know. I just think
me and the state system, when it comes to Christmas, we have a long history.
Oh, really? Okay, so you might have similar. Look, I've got no issue about it, but I think they should then give equal coverage to all faiths. Part of the reason we love having her at the council creche is so that she has, a fully, multicultural. A lot of kids, if you go to just your particular religious faith's educational system, then that's all you know. And I think it's, I want her to know the whole gamut. I took her in this morning and I brought in the Hanukkah book, and I said, do you want to tell Ruby, the teacher, do you want to tell Ruby what you have? And she goes, I've got Elmo. I'm like, yeah, and what's Elmo doing? And she goes, we celebrate Hanukkah. I'm like, there we go.
Oh, that is just so good.
Meanwhile, we're going to the creche Christmas party this afternoon. So
in the UK we celebrated everything. Diwali, everything, and every event was celebrated. It was, in a way, it was easy because we had a representation of everyone in the class on the whole. So it was kind of, felt less tokenistic in that.
I know, I had this slight feeling that there was a little bit of leaning going on.
There's shitloads of leaning at our state schools.
Okay, then. Also say, so that's what some people believe, and other people believe this, and other people believe that, and give full recognition to each and use all the terminology of each, but make sure you actually do include all of them, rather than it just being, a very heavy one.
And now they're doing Santa. No, what's it called? Elf on the Shelf.
Stalker elf,
Right, which I think is the most horrific, frightening thing.
I don't actually understand what elf on the. It does seem like you've got this stalker elf.
It makes me want to vomit. So it's this horrible puppet with eyes going. And I, as someone who's not great with the faces on dolls anyway, one, and it supposedly moves itself every night. And it's watching.
That's creepy as.
And then you've got to figure out where the elf is. And then, so my daughter comes home. She's like, "Why don't we have Elf on the Shelf?" And I said, "Because I think it's terrifying and horrible surveillance."
What's the idea?
Teacher moves it.
So what's the idea if you're bad that the elf dobs on you to Santa? Is that and then you don't get presents?
Obviously, if there's a discipline issue. I don't know of any kids who actually got coal in their shoes. So why are they still doing the surveillance thing? I don't understand. Because it's obviously never working, right? Anyway, so she got our little elf, but she just did it herself. I was like, you can make your own tradition if you want to do it, but I'm not having some elf watching me with freaky eyes and...
Can you just chuck it in like the cookware, this is my McGovern in the oven or something
just
oh, this is Bob Turner on the burner.
But Santa's never been allowed in the house anyway because that's creepy.
Oh, really?
And
That's true, actually.
I don't know very many autistic kids that have ever wanted Santa to come into the home because they see straight to the truth of the fact that is freaky and wrong. One of them wanted the elves to come in.
Dari doesn't yet know this idea that it's 8 days of presents. She's kind of clued on that there is a present involved. So I think we'll try and keep it down to the one present, so it's not like this. Let's have a festival of spoiling the crap out of you. Now I sound like a really awful parent. Because it is Hanukkah, so much Hanukkah to celebrate.
Chanukah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Instead of one day of presents, we get decorated.
We often talk about the pagan side of all of these things and winter and the fact that it makes no sense because it's not winter. So
Yes.
lighting up our homes in summer is weird, but we'll do it. You know, we always talk about the seasons being reversed and why on earth is there an apple on the tree and why do we eat dried fruit? We've got perfectly good fruit. And why do we, but we talk about the inconsistencies and that conversation alone. Plus, I just really love sparkles and Christmas lights.
I reckon I've learned more about Christmas in the last about 3 minutes.
Oh, like spooky Northern European music from like all the stuff, winter.
All the stuff, from Scandinavia, like the death metal. Like, you've got all the black metal guys who kill each other. Also have a side hustle in doing, Deck the Halls. A friend of mine in Israel, he's a Christian guy, and he is from a really good band over there. But he's also got a side band called the Myrrhderers, Myrrhders, right? And they just do punk versions of Christmas carols, and it is so good. They're an amazing band, but it's so that's been like on high rotation for me.
That's so good. I like
that's what we do for Christmas in our house.
This is for you.
My favorite thing that we read, the Little People Big Dreams books, the one about, they're like basically kids' biographies of inspirational women. So, I've got a Maya Angelou one, an Ada Lovelace, all these. Marie
I don't have to write it down. It's recorded.
At the moment, she's in love with Agatha Christie, which I sort of love, right? She always wants to read Agatha.
That's so good.
Read Agatha. I like that.
I love it. I like that they're on first name basis as well.
The other thing, this is the funniest thing about having when your kid's really young, and everyone says how at some point your kid will start listening to music which will horrify you. We have there's these, it's called the Story Orchestra. Have you seen these books? So they're like, we have, for instance, The Sleeping Beauty. So Tchaikovsky's The Sleeping Beauty. It's a picture book, and each page has a little sample from the movement. So you read the bit, which is the story, then you push the button and it plays. So now on the way to creche, she wants to listen to Tchaikovsky. I'm like, what weird child is this?
This is the music that horrifies you.
I'm just like, what's wrong with punk? Like, I try to play your punk and you're not listening, and you want me, now I have to listen to Tchaikovsky. Can we meet in the middle with Disney or something?
No, meet in the middle with two cellos is where we got to. What's with that? My son. 2 cellos. They're like these two Italian guys.
Are they those 2 dudes who go crazy on the metal Disney? And there's a band called Punk Rock Factory, and they just put out an album last week, which is just Disney songs done as punk songs. And I'm like, yeah. So I was playing those to my daughter this morning, and she's like, when the realization hit of what the song was, she got really excited, and then she starts she's doing her dance and I'm like, this is great. Have you seen Moana?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love Moana. For me, that's by far the best, because she's a strong female character that I don't like these princesses. The princesses who rely on a guy. I like that she is.
The new stuff is better from Disney.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just the demonizing of the gay crabby crab. Shiny. You know how we all love shiny.
That's hilarious. I never took.
No one's ever noticed. So there was an academic who wrote a paper, and she was tweeting someone was tweeting her paper about how it had addressed sort of racism and sexism, and they've made all these amazing things because they weren't the enemies and da-da-da. And then I said, yeah, but what about shiny? Because it's this David Bowie gayish crab camp and just wants shiny things, and he's the evil character now. And they're like, I love the academic for saying, holy crap, I never thought of that.
You know what the funniest part about that is? That is my daughter's favourite character, who she runs around saying he is. So she now has the crab dance. She walks out, she goes, who am I? I'm like, are you Cinderella? She's like, no, who am I? And then she'll go, I'll give you a clue. I'm like, okay. And she said, you've got to rock as a diversion. I love it.
I could teach you to draw hey. Insert
I want that lesson. And then can you put a third one, which is just a stick figure chicken, and go, yeah, this is Bram's. And you'll probably be pretty spot on.
Do you ever think to yourself, whatever I'm doing right now, what if I have to call an ambulance? I do apologise. Tell me again about the chicken farm. Chickens. I have a whole Oz chat basically about chickens, how terrifying they can be, and also how awesome.
They can actually be quite terrifying. I'm with you on that. It was called Scrambles. He now sits in the Jewish Museum of Australia. And he,
a little tub of hummus.
On our last gig, I decapitated it. Like we actually did we put it on a butcher's block and decapitated it. And anyway, the decapitated chicken now lives in the Jewish Museum of Australia. That's how you know you've made a cultural contribution, when your rubber chicken ends up in a museum.
Nobody at me about the chicken's rights, please. It was rubber.
Yeah. Who am I?
Like, well, I'm a grown-up. How would I know? I don't see them. You don't have mine in there. Oh, no, don't read it in case you don't like it, because that would be really awkward. Don't do that. Thinking to myself, is it rude? Like, not even incorrect, insensitive? No. Appropriation. Yeah. I did this little video clip advertising all the zombie and, like, dead people coming back books from the year with this amazing Christmas carol I found. Like, lay your place at the table for a zombie. And this is this lovely little Christmas carol, which just had me in stitches every time I heard it.
Great.
And I put all the little books, and then I put this little zombie my daughter had drawn, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. I don't know if anyone else enjoyed it.
And now it's gone viral. It's got 250 million views on TikTok.
It was like, I think one of the authors was like, oh, that's nice, thanks. And I was like, oh, God, I'm sorry.
You've got to rock as a diversion.